everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Rambling Review here on Adventures in TV Land. And for this Rambling Review, we're going to talk about Avatar, Way of Water. Now, after a little over 2 months, I broke down and I went and I saw Avatar, The Way of Water. I have to admit, I was a bit reluctant to watch this movie because, first of all, when I saw the first Avatar movie, I didn't really enjoy it that much. I actually had a headache during the movie because it came out, and when it came out, there was the huge push for 3D, and it was all in 3D, and the 3D experience for me actually gave me a headache that made watching the movie actually painful. It was physically painful for me to originally watch the first Avatar in the movie theaters. Since then, I went back and rewatched Avatar, and in all honesty, I was not that impressed by it. Story-wise, it was basically like, Dances with Wolves or Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. Very similar to those films and movies in the theme, not only the theme, but in the plot. It's basically those films too. Except you have blue cat people. I will say the original Avatar, it is still, even though I didn't watch it when I rewatched it, just watched it normally, it is a visually impressive. Now it's not quite as impressive because what you see there on screen from back then, that's happening all the time now. It was a huge achievement at the time it came out, but now it's kind of, it's an everyday movie-going experience. Now, Avatar 2, The Way of Water, or Avatar, The Way of Water, it takes place several years after the original movie ended. Jake Sully, he's happily married. He has several children. One of them is adopted, who is the adopted child who was born by Sigourney Weaver's, the character she played, her avatar actually gave birth somehow. I don't know how that works, and the movie really doesn't explain it either. It just, it happened, and the movie makes like, well, it happened, and that's it. There's no explanation whatsoever, even though it makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, plot-wise, it's kind of the same, I guess, not exactly the same, but very similar to the first film and the beats and how the action occurs and things like that, except this time, instead of him, trying to adapt into a new culture, just himself, get used to being in an avatar, a Na'vi, it's his family adopting to a different Na'vi clan who lives in and by the water, by the ocean. Jake Sully's avatar people, they're Na'vi, they're forest people. The people he leaves because he's being hunted by the military after over a decade because they've come back to Pandora for some reason, because I don't know, I guess there must not be many planets in the universe or moons or anything like that are even slightly habitable for people of Earth, which I find it a little bit hard to believe based off, if that advanced technology on that planet and how Earthlings are able to live there and stuff like that, you're going to tell me there's not some other planet that they could go to, or a moon or whatever, and they could adapt that? They have to come here to this planet? It makes little sense to me. Maybe, I guess James Cameron, he's got 5 movies planned in this thing, and they'll explain it later on, but knowing James Cameron, they probably won't explain it. There's a lot of things that are never explained in this movie. Those things aside, I did actually enjoy Avatar, The Way of Water. I was surprised. I only looked at my watch about 3 times for the 3.5 hours of the film. It was an enjoyable movie. It was not a great movie, and actually, I don't know, maybe because we are so used to seeing things on screen, I did not find what I was seeing on the screen to be all that technologically impressive, in all honesty. I know it is because it's all done through CGI and things like that and motion capture, and it looks totally realistic, but it didn't impress me. It didn't seem that fantastic. It was just like, oh, that's really pretty, but that was it. Story-wise, in my opinion, this is a better story, even though there are a lot of things that are similar to the first movie, but it is beat by beat a better overall arching story. You do have a little bit more emotion. You care a little bit more about the characters, at least I did, than I did in the first film. It revolves around Jake and his family, and so it's about a father protecting his family, defending his family, things like that, and that does resonate and provides a very positive example of fatherhood and the importance of family and, staying true with your family, and it's the opposite of what you usually see from Hollywood pictures nowadays. There are a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, they like to tear down families. This movie doesn't do that. It uplifts families. It uplifts communities. It shows the strength and the importance of those things and values that. And I think that does resonate with a lot of people. I think it resonates not only with a lot of people here in the United States who may not have that all the time, or may not always see it in our current culture, but especially in other cultures in the world. The importance of family, fatherhood, those values, that resonates very well in most other parts of the world, Africa, South America, Asia, and I think even here in the West, that message resonates well, even though we tend to, as a society and a culture, devalue those things. But people at their core are people, and those values are important. So, as for the future of the franchise, there will be at least one more sequel, if not two. Cameron said there's 5 sequels planned, but there's only been 3 that have been filmed, because Avatar 3 is, although it is not finished, most of the principal photography is, because they filmed Avatar 2 and 3 simultaneously, so they would at least have a trilogy there. So even though 3, there's a lot of production work that has to be done on that because of the amount of CGI and everything that's involved, story-wise and the principal photography for the most part is done. I enjoyed the movie, and the values, it really resonated with me, but at the same time, I have no desire to go see it again. And as for the future, now that I've invested myself into 2 films in here, I would like to see eventually how the 3rd film, how it ties in. But it's not like something, I'm anxiously awaiting or will be. It would be kind of the same thing, I guess. I would probably wait until at least 2 months out, if it would be showing 2 months out again, and go see it in a theater. Or maybe even third one, maybe I would just watch it on DVD or something. It didn't impress me as much, honestly. So I don't know if I don't know if I'd go see the 3rd one in the theater when it comes out or not. Even though I did kind of like this one, I enjoyed it, but it's not the greatest movie of all time or anything like that. One other thing I will say, James Cameron, that man is in love with the ocean and with water. The Abyss, Titanic, now here Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Cameron, he also did the thing, it was like a documentary type thing he did, when they were looking for the real Titanic and a couple other things. I think he's actually gone on a couple scuba missions where they've gotten those little submarines and explored sunken treasures and things like that. The man, you can tell, he's obsessed with water. I don't know how they said the 3rd film, I guess, is going to be talking about the fire Na'vi or whatever, the volcano Na'vi people, fire people, ash people. I don't know how that'll go, but anyway, he is the master in his element in water, and there were scenes in this film that they were very similar in many ways to Titanic or The Abyss. Certain scenes in The Abyss, like all filmmakers, he has those little things that he ties in, I guess, and throws in there as references, kind of maybe referencing, just paying a homage to what he did before. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10 for Avatar: The Way of Water, I would give a 7. 7 only being because even though story-wise it's about a 5, but I'll give it a 7 because of the values that it does promote and support that Hollywood typically doesn't. So there you have it. There is the Adventures in TV Land rambling review of Avatar: The Way of Water. Have you seen Avatar: The Way of Water? Did you see the original Avatar? What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Give me a little bit of feedback here. What do you think about these 2 movies? Let us know. Thank you for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.